So there is debate that is being called by Ghana should not be a debate of finger pointing, cheap political scoring against South Africa, labeling South Africa as this and that, because it will not be helpful. It should be a constructive engagement on migration.
Hear me out. So, once upon a time, I used to think that the ANC does have a little light at the end of the tunnel. Everything is not all that bad. I was talking about Ronald Lamoola. So when Ronald Lamoola was appointed into the GNU as a Minister of Foreign Affairs, at first I thought that was a good fit. I mean, he's young, he's supposed to be energetic and innovative, modern, and all the stuff that comes with being youthful in African governments that are backward and keep taking Africa backward. You would have thought, no, he would have put some energy, that young blood in there. And then energize the Cyril Ramaphosa because at the end of the day, Ronald Lamoola, as a Minister of Foreign Affairs, he is the face of South Africa. He is the very first face that the world sees before the world sees Cyril Ramaphosa as President of the Republic. Any conversation, whether it's had in the White House, whether it's held in 10 Downing Street, whether it's held in Yamoussoukro or it's held in what is Tinubu's presidential house called again? Yeah, that it's first had with Ronald Lamoola before it is had with the president of the Republic of South Africa. That goes with agreements, that goes with diplomatic issues that they might be having, like the current diplomatic issues that I believe we are having with Ghana, that we are also having with Nigeria. And then yesterday, Ronald Lamoola delivered a speech of some sort. And that speech left me with a cardboard taste. Number one, the man doesn't have energy. It's as if he's being forced to talk. Two, I don't know between him and Cyril. I think Cyril Ramaphosa is more springy. I'm talking about, Ramaphosa even does Amavosho. And I know that I am taking something. Nah, I have to. I'm sorry. I have to. Because it's for me where I am seated, as I understand the structure of governments, that the most person that gets trained for presidency anywhere in the world, it's always the Minister of Foreign Affairs because the face is already familiar. The world knows who the person is. They know how he thinks or she thinks and how their heart is as a person. Remember, there was a time where Madam President was supposed to be elected in South Africa after, I think it was after Thabo Mbeki. I think it was going to be Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma, who was the foreign minister. And so there were a lot of questions that were being asked of the USA, Canada, as well as the USA. What do you think about Madam President coming from South Africa? And most of them, they supported that. Not that I'm saying most because I was just watching CNN at that time, and they were in some sort of a summit of some sort, and they all said, "Oh, we are ready for Madam President from South Africa," and on top of that, she's familiar with us. So they made the assumption that it was Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma. And the assumption is correct because when you're a minister of foreign affairs, naturally you escalate to president. Anywhere in the world for that matter. So can you imagine Ronald Lamoola escalating to the president of South Africa with that energy? Sir, you need to wake up. You need to be youthful. You need to be young. You need to speak. We need to understand you. I don't understand what I was watching, and I was so disturbed. I ended up having to rewatch his segment because what on earth? I get it. We are all different and unique as we come physically into this world. But they are where you listen to me. I am introvert. But you can never tell that I'm an introvert. Why? Because I'm in front of a camera. But out there, child, you ask, is this even Clantis? Why? Because I want to my projections be heard and understood. And where there is decision making, you don't smile. You see that poker face that you have? Use it when you are doing decisions. But when you are also going to tell us, not only as a minister of foreign affairs, South African foreign affairs minister, but also as a patriot. And I understand that most of us as patriots, we're not just patriots, we are the foot soldiers of our country. And how we speak must be also with authority. It must be with authority. You can't say something like this, well, South Africa is also a sovereignty and they need to understand this. No, South Africa is a sovereignty and it must be respected. Do you see how they speak? South Africa has been humiliated by both Ghana and Nigeria. They took bold steps when South Africans decided, well, it's time to rescue our sovereignty and the rule of law. What did Nigeria do? They summoned, this is humiliation. They summoned our high commissioners, respectively. Summoned. What do you think our high commissioners did? They poured out their hearts explaining our immigration laws to them. And they continued that now this is a good opportunity for us to propagate your country that you are the face of. You speak as if, oh, it's nothing of a big deal. You are so nonchalant about it. They are propagating to destroy your country. You need to wake up. Put some energy into it. You are the youngest minister in that GNU, probably in Africa. And you are worse than those old men in terms of how you present yourself, Mr. Ronald Lamoola. It's unacceptable. It's just unacceptable. Again, I acknowledge we all come in different forms, but when we hold positions of power, whether in corporate or whether in government, especially in key positions like the Ministry of International Relations, we don't speak like that. We don't speak like we just got called by a teacher in front of the class to do orals and you were unprepared. No, no. I'm sorry, fellow South Africans, if I am annoying you with this, but I'm disturbed. And why wouldn't I, as a African leader, not take advantage of South Africa when the foreign minister is sheepish like Ronald Lamoola? Why wouldn't I? Why would I take South Africa serious when the foreign minister does not have a voice of authority? And Ronald Lamoola, he is like a roller coaster. The first time when this March and March started fixing the country, He called them vigilante in front of the AU chairperson, the one that doesn't understand why the government doesn't blow us up because we are exercising our constitutional right to protest. He called us vigilantes. You know why he called us vigilantes and xenophobic and attacking? Because those are the words he was using, Lamoola. Attacking foreign nationals. You know why he was doing that? Because he was being influenced by his African counterparts. And because he is the face of South Africa, he needed to put out those fires and then come and chastise us like little children without facts. And then when he was shown the facts that no, Mr. Lionel Ramula, the March and March and all these other major marches that have been happening, they've been peaceful. Nobody has been injured. Nobody has been beaten. And then he's like, what? Wait. And then he tries to correct his counterparts. A black one, the liar. It was too late. The propaganda already spread. And one thing about the South African government, it is not good at controlling narrative. They just let narrative about South Africa go out there. And the only time they start taking action, it's when the flames, they are now inferno. They try to put them out. It's almost near impossible. Why? Because when the propaganda started or that narrative started in the beginning when it was still controllable, no, they did nothing. Now you understand when you see Ronald Lamoola standing in front of the nation and he's addressing us as if he's in front of an all boys classroom English literature. And he needs to tell us a story. And he's unsure and intimidated, sheepish, no authority, no confidence. I'm shocked. I'm not saying change Ronald Lamoola, no. All I'm asking of the minister, show youth. Maybe you're no longer a youth. We're not like Nigeria where you are youth until you are 90. The rest of the world and South Africa, you are youth from 18 to 35. But what I'm trying to say is show that you are the youngest minister in Africa. Take control. Take control of all these negative narratives about our country. It looks like everybody just, wake up one morning and say, what do I accuse South Africa of again? Oh yeah, I know that Minister of Foreign Affairs is not going to do anything. And then boom. So anyways, from what I understand, because I was waiting for some key things that I wanted to hear from him. What is he going to do as South Africa for us, for all this to stop? This nonsense. So I understood him to reaffirm the Ghanaian people that our diplomatic relationship is still intact. How? How are you still going to be friends with people that are trying to destroy you? I saw people say Saxit. Saxit. Like Brexit? Because now we are being thrown around by even West African countries that are failures. And we have they people here in South Africa standing behind Ghana with that nonsense of theirs taking South Africa to the African Union. Yeah, that useless, toothless body that can't do anything about the slavery that is going on in Libya, the xenophobia that is happening in Tunisia, the Boko Haram that is happening in Nigeria, the bandits also happening in Nigeria, Sudan, the Congo. Allegedly, there's a war in Somalia, but hey, Why would the African Union care? But it's care a lot about South Africa because you guys, you realize that the tap is getting closed for remittance that are coming from South Africa. Not only the remittance that are coming from South Africa, but also y'all want to dribble South Africa out of its global position and its reputation as a country that is trusted. And then Ronald Lamoola is saying, oh, we're still friends. And this friend is adamant in destroying South Africa. Sucks it. Let's break away from the African Union. By the way, do you know that we contribute the highest in the African Union, about $27 million, and we are the only one in that bracket. And you know how much Ghana contributes to the African Union? $6 million. No, let's take our $27 million. There are a whole lot of things that we need to do here in South Africa with that money. Exit. We exit this nonsense of a toothless body called African Union. What does it help us with? What has it helped us with? And now it's going to be used as a tool against a country that is exercising its sovereignty. We are exercising our sovereignty and we are the wrong ones. And we have a minister of foreign affairs who's just going there to explain our foreign affairs policies. And then you think a black boy is going to actually listen to that? That is why he's pressing ahead. With that envoy or special envoy, he's still pressing ahead because we have a minister that has no energy, has no authority in the way he talks and presents himself. Who will take you serious? Who will take you serious? Yo, I was so frustrated listening to Ronald Lamoola. Anyways, turns out that the African Union has received. You see, Ronald Lamoola, they didn't listen to it. A black boy in them, they didn't care. You too weak for them. They pressed ahead. And the African Union did get the letter, and the African Union did respond to South Africa, basically alerting South Africa that they are going to be sending a fact-finding mission. You must remember that the chairperson of the African Union, who was here a month ago, you know how he feels already about South Africa, particularly our government. They say, or he says, oh, the South African government, in principle, does not agree with March and March, but it does not take action. And when he talks about action, he's talking that the police, the man in uniform, they must open fire. Not like rubber bullets or anything, like open fire, Marikana style. That's what he's talking about. And so he is going to be part of that envoy to South Africa for fact-finding mission. And I hope Ronald Lamoola is going to say the right things, show them the right things. We are transparent here in this country. They need to prove, number one, that South Africa is xenophobic. And that includes this, whatever it is that you call them, fact-finding missioners. They must go as far back as 1994 when we got freedom, all the way to date. Actually, all the way to 2008, because we heard some very disturbing news coming from Thabo Mbeki and a secret service file about what transpired in 2008 I hope Ronald Lamoola is going to present that because it was attributed to us and we the ones that were called xenophobic. The word xenophobic was introduced by that very first attack, and it was not us, according to Thabo Mbeki. And then we go to the next one, and the next one, I don't know how many there were. I think there were 3 more after the 2008. And then they must see what is it that pushes South Africans to a point of boiling point. About the people that are coming into this country, nobody told us about. Who are they? What are they doing here? Why are they killing us? Why are they kidnapping our children? Why are they selling us white powder? Why are they disrespectful towards us? We did not understand all of that. And all we did was like, okay, now they are here. Let's have Ubuntu. That's what we told ourselves. Let's have Ubuntu. They saw that as a weakling to on us. Like, oh, these ones are weak. You can do anything that you want. More came in. So all of those things, the fact-finding missioners, they need to look into it to determine with their final report, are South Africans xenophobic? With every cent that we spent, with taking care of them in our clinics and hospitals, the type of illnesses that they brought here that could cost millions of rands if they were in any other country, including their own, for treatment, but they got it here in South Africa for free. They've given birth to children living with disabilities. And who do you think is taking care of those children with disabilities? Us, the xenophobic ones. Some of them come from African countries. Oh, by the way, this one is attributed to South Africa. They say, oh, South Africa is an HIV nation. No, it's you guys coming with it because South Africa issues out free HIV and AIDS medication called ARVs, antiretroviral pills. It prolongs your life. So they come here in the millions for that medication. But it gets attributed to us to say, oh, South Africans, you're all HIV positive. No, it's you guys. So all those things needs to be collected by the fact-finding missioners. Let's talk about economy. They claim to have businesses here. We want a full report of how many legit and those that are illegit foreign nationals that are in South Africa owning businesses, how much the legit ones contribute into the South African economy. And of course, the legit ones will always be the professionals, like your doctors and engineers and all those people, some of whom are scarce skill that South Africa wanted. We want to know, just them alone, how much do they contribute into the South African economy? And then when it comes to the Imdlwembe, how much do they contribute into the South African economy? That means their businesses are registered, their businesses are paying taxes. Do not come and tell me about VAT. We all pay VAT. And also we pay taxes. So we want a breakdown of all of them because when they leave here say, oh, I had a business and they need to compensate me. We want to know from the fact-finding missioners how much, and they should be paying more tax than South Africans. That's the number I'm expecting to see because there are a lot here and they are running businesses, as they say. I want to hear that. That is what I'm looking forward to hear because the South African taxpayer has been the one that is carrying these people on their shoulder. Healthcare, education, infrastructure, you name it. That's what this mission needs to do. And that same must conclude whether South Africans are xenophobic or not. Now, because they did push ahead, Ronald Lamoola needs to show some balls. Put together an invoice and slap it on Ghana. Yeah, as the convoy leaves, or is it envoy? As the envoy leaves back to Rwanda, they must be carrying an invoice coming from South Africa to Ghana and Nigeria. Possibly other countries too. And then I hope we might begin the process someday of Saxit. We are not going to be played like this. We are not going to be disrespected in this way just because we have a sheepish Minister of Foreign Affairs in Ronald Lamoola. Sorry. I am not happy with Ronald Lamoola. I'm not. I'm just not. I'm not. I'm sorry. I don't know. What are your thoughts, fellow South Africans? Oh, gosh. It's like when we try to move forward, we go backward. Now, Ronald Lamoola has come back to call us vigilantes and goodbye, guys. Hey, I am South Africa.